Ever wonder what really separates the highest achievers from everybody else? Well, it turns out they're playing a different game with a different set of rules. Today, we're going to break down the 7 core principles that the world's top performers live by. We're talking billionaires, world-class entrepreneurs, you name it. Let's get into it. Now, this isn't just some theory I read in a book. This comes from being in the trenches, managing billions at Goldman Sachs, building businesses with incredible people like Alex and Layla Hormozi, and yeah, even sitting in rooms with people like Elon Musk. And through all of that, a really clear pattern started to emerge. A playbook, really. A set of unwritten rules these top performers use to get just insane results. And these principles, they're not just abstract ideas. They are the actual actionable rules that took me from being just an average kid in India to building multiple successful companies here in the US. So let's start at the beginning with the foundation of it all. Okay, so our first 2 rules are all about the fundamental mindset. This is the bedrock, right? This is the stuff that everything else gets built on. It all starts with how you see yourself and the world you're operating in. So you might think this first lesson came from some big shot billionaire, but nope. It actually came from my father back in India. See, in a system where the odds were kind of stacked against you, where it wasn't a pure meritocracy, he taught me something crucial. He said, when the system is out of your control, effort is the one and only thing you truly own. It's your only lever. Talent just isn't enough when the rules aren't fair. But listen, this is not just about working hard. We're talking about unreasonable effort. This means focusing so intensely on just a few things. For me, it was only tennis and academics, nothing else, that it literally looks crazy to everybody on the outside. The formula is actually pretty simple. Find something you're decent at, and then just apply an unreasonable amount of work to it. You'll blow past everyone else. All right, rule number 2. This one came from the most unexpected place you could imagine. Backstage at a Dave Matthews concert. Yeah, I know. But what he said totally changed how I think about solving problems. So think about it. Most songwriters, they write the lyrics first, and then they add the music. That's the rules. But Dave Matthews was stuck. He had writer's block, so what did he do? He just did the complete opposite. He created the music first, the whole vibe, the melody, and then he fit the lyrics into that structure. He just broke the rules. And this gets to the absolute core of it. The best of the best, they don't just look for answers inside the box. They question the box itself. They're the ones who are constantly asking, wait, why are we doing it this way? They just refuse to accept that's just how it's done. So let me ask you this. Think about a problem you're stuck on right now. What are the unspoken rules you're following? That you have to do things in a certain order, that you need more money or more connections. What if you just challenged one of those basic assumptions? What would happen? Okay, so once you get the mindset right, the next piece of the puzzle is mastering how you make decisions and jump on opportunities. And believe me, the top 0.01% are absolute masters at this. This next lesson came from a very direct and, let's be honest, a very selfish question I asked Elon Musk. I was at a total crossroads, trying to choose between my dream school, Stanford, and building a new startup. And trying to do both at the same time was just completely overwhelming me. So I just asked him, what would you do? And Elon's advice was so simple but so profound. He said, Stanford is a reversible decision. It'll always be there. But the startup, that's an irreversible opportunity. That specific moment with those specific people, that won't come around again. Man, the takeaway is so clear. Make reversible decisions fast. Save all your brain power for the ones you can't take back. I dropped out of Stanford that week. All right, rule number 4. This one comes from another titan, Izzy Sharp. He's the founder of the multi-billion-dollar Four Seasons hotel empire. And his core principle is so simple, so effective, and it can totally change your life. This was Izzy's motto. And it is so much more than a customer service slogan. It's a philosophy for living. See, most people, they operate from a default no. They're skeptical. They look for problems first. The most successful people, they operate from a default yes. And here's why this is such a game changer. When you default to yes on opportunities and challenges, you create momentum. You just expand your surface area for luck. It forces your brain to skip past the doubt of, can I do this? And jump straight into the creative problem solving of, okay, how can I do this? It's a total mindset shift. All right, in our final section, we're going to focus on execution. Because you can have the right mindset and a great decision-making framework, but at the end of the day, success comes down to your environment, your role, and how prepared you are. So, this lesson came from my time working at Goldman Sachs. And I gotta tell you, that place has the highest density of A players I've ever been around. It was the ultimate training ground. And it revealed this little secret, this magic cocktail for what drives crazy high performance. So, here are the two paradoxical ingredients. First, everyone at Goldman has this insane sense of superiority. I mean, you have to just to get through the door. But then you're immediately hit with the second ingredient, this crippling sense of insecurity. Because for the first time in your life, you are not the smartest person in the room. And that mixture, that magic cocktail of superiority and insecurity, it just supercharges your work ethic like nothing else. But here's the catch. Even the best environment in the world can't help you if you're in the wrong role. And man, this was a painful lesson, but a necessary one. I learned it right after helping a client sell his company while I was at Goldman. The client, who just made $100 million, pointed out this brutal reality. He said, "You have to do that 100 times to make what I just made on one deal." That number, 100, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It revealed this huge mismatch. I felt like an entrepreneur, but I was sitting in an advisor's chair. Some people are born to be advisors, others are born to be entrepreneurs. Your job is to be brutally honest about which seat is actually yours. The final lesson, rule number 7. This comes from observing elite execution up close with Alex and Layla Hormozi. And it is the ultimate thing that separates the good performers from the top 0.01%. I mean, just look at this contrast. It took me 10 years to build this complex money framework. 10 years. The Hormozis did all the homework on it in a single weekend. Full immersion, no messing around. And that same level of world-class prep is what allowed them to sell $16 million worth of books in just 72 hours. See, preparation isn't about capability. It's about showing you care enough to win. So let's run it back. The 7 rules. Commit to unreasonable effort. Break the rules by questioning everything. Make reversible decisions quickly. Default to yes. Find your magic cocktail of superiority and insecurity. Make sure you're in the right damn seat. And finally, over-prepare to win. Look, these lessons took decades to learn, but you just got them in a few minutes. The only thing that matters now is what you do with them. So the question is, which one are you going to apply first?